if you look at being an owner-operator 6 months ago, as long as you had experience and a good safety rating and you did a decent job, you had your pick of the litter across the industry on freight rates and what was out there. Now that the pendulum has swung back the other way, it's, hey, wait a minute, I didn't build any relationships.
Right.
I didn't invest in anything. You got to put some away for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we all know this goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. And there's
Yeah.
going to be compression at all levels, but
Yeah.
I think you have to plan for it, to your point.
You said something about as long as you have a good safety rating. And so, in terms of the market and being able to evaluate that, where do you look to find out, people's safety ratings? What is there a good tool? Is there a way in which, you can do that in a reasonable way and fairly economical way?
We do. We vet our carriers using multiple tools. I think the most current one that we are doing a beta program with is Cassandra Gaines, Carrier Sure. Sharing what we are seeing and what we are looking to see when we vet our carriers. I think that's an industry-wide question, but I think that the Carrier Assure is bringing us a value, and we're bringing Carrier Assure a value by vetting the system and sharing the knowledge and experience that we have as to what we would want to see or what we're looking for or what maybe needs some tweaking. So
Yeah.
definitely been working with that. We use a couple other tools also along with FMCSA. In your comparisons, and then you look at your history. Fortunately for us, we're pretty good size, so we usually have some level of history with many people,
Yeah.
and that also that's part of the equation that you have to take in.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, and I'm always interested in talking to, brokers and carriers and also shippers. I think it helps to understand sort of what's going on in the marketplace. But I'm curious, John, to it sounds like you guys are growing. I'm obviously excited for you in that way. I think you guys do a great job. We've done a little work together, and I'm very appreciative of that. But maybe give me a bit of sense for how you guys are growing and what you're doing to differentiate yourself in the marketplace, because I think at the end of the day, that's really, as things get difficult, shippers are going to want to align with a company that's A, growing, and B, has something to differentiate themselves in the marketplace.
Good question. To answer that clearly, last year we hit close to 350 million. We don't do much from an advertising perspective. All of our clientele has been word of mouth based on service. So I think we are known throughout the industry as being a higher level of commitment provider and a higher level of service provider. And we look forward to growing. We have plans to grow again next year. Finish this year strong. We should grow. The big question for shippers is, as their reduction in volumes coming and their reduction in line haul rates, they're going to have another bucket that they have to a large increase for, which is fuel surcharge.
Yeah.
So I don't know that they'll net out better at the end of this year than
Mhm.
they did last year. I don't think they will. But it won't just be in freight per se. It's going to be the fuel surcharge is going to be a major factor for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the other area where I would love to sort of get your view on is, like, as a shipper, given all the things that are going on in the marketplace and all the challenges that we've been talking about, obviously there's some compression going on. There's some shifting from spot to other areas. But curious, if I'm a shipper and I'm looking to really contract for quarterly or semi-annually, how do what do you think the appetite of that is with brokers right now?
Well, I think it's always a healthy appetite. Again, it goes back to the business model and the relationship and the trust. I think you have to have an open-ended relationship at this point in time.
Hmm.
I don't know that nothing is written in stone today after the past 18 to 24 months. Uh, I don't know that anybody says they can go, long term projecting cost.
Yeah.
But I think you have to handle it like your retirement. You're going to plan for the best and prepare for the worst.
Yeah,
And
sure.
somewhere in the middle is going to be the intelligent play, right?
Yeah,
And
sure.
I think you have to present that to your shippers, and you say, hey, we're going to be reviewing this. If you want 6 month pricing, no problem. We're going to review it and see where we are. Let's enter into something that's positive for both people. If this is a partnership, if you're wanting the level of service that we provide, the commitment level, the capacity guarantees, if you want all those things, they're there. Now, I think in today's market, you have to look at it differently. I think you have to look at it as long-term commitment and shorter-term pricing reviews.
So you would recommend maybe, so from a shipper side, obviously one of the things that we're always trying to do is we're trying to reasonably predict what our costs are going to be going forward. So the longer you can predict out, those transportation costs, sort of into the future for the rest of the year, the better off you're going to be, right? So it obviously everybody's concerned about the P&L with compression, with the input costs going up on raw materials, overseas transit costs going up, and now sort of over the road and LTL, those costs going up as well. And so being able to predict that's very, very useful. So you know I would think that having an alignment with a partner like yourselves, one that produce high results, really good on time rates, and sort of confidence in making those deliveries for their customers would be of great value to a lot of other shippers. So
Well, we hope so. It's been successful. We don't see a turnover with our clientele.
yeah.
Normally they use us. A lot of the time they use us in a value needed role
Hmm.
in their network. Everybody's got their pie. They slice it up how they like it,
Right.
and understanding where you fit. Is a big part of being successful as a partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Good, John. Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I think this is all very insightful. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of dynamics in the industry right now, a lot of changing dynamics, right? Inflationary costs, macroeconomic conditions, the war over in the Ukraine. I mean, there's so many variables that companies have to be really thoughtful about who they're aligning with, and obviously being familiar with what's going on in the marketplace. These are all useful conversations, so I really appreciate that. Do you have any other zinger questions? I know you usually have some good zingers that you're prepared to present.
I think that I would leave this with a very simple statement. It says pricing equals your commitment, and from every perspective, right?
Yeah.
So if you take that into the partnership, and you can go to work from both sides and find some common ground
Yeah.
and strategies that bring value.
Yeah. Good. Well, I only have one other area I wanted to talk about today, John. I want to get off topic just for a moment. As you well know, I'm a native Ohioan, and although I've been gone for well over 30 years, I am curious what the talk is back in Columbus about this coming season for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Are you privy to that, and can you share or at least be a prognosticator in this case about what you think is gonna happen this coming season?
Well, I think from everything I've heard that it won't surprise me that if we're not a top three team. Of course, the Buckeyes should be a top three team every year. I mean, that's just the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's
Okay.
drawn up, right?
Yeah.
But there again, every play is drawn up to be a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Every single play is supposed to be a touchdown. If all 11 guys do exactly what they're supposed to do on the offensive side of the ball, it's going to be a touchdown. And if
Yeah.
everybody on the defensive side of the ball does exactly what they're supposed to do, nobody's getting a first down. From what I gather, I think we've picked up some more five-star receivers.
Mm-hmm.
We had a young quarterback last year that I think is going to be very nice this year as he matures and settles in.
Okay.
So we lost a lot from the receiving perspective, but I think we're ready to reload at even a higher level.
Yeah, but I think doesn't Ohio State have a pretty good running back too coming back this year?
Yeah, but I think that's normal. We just take that for granted here. Uh,
It's
we,
good to
we,
be a Buckeye. Apparently, you could
it,
just line them up, right? So
well,
you're
how have we done
free.
against Oregon? We
Hey,
actually dropped one last
hey,
year.
listen, living in Oregon does not require you to be an Oregon Ducks fan or a Beaver fan, I assure you. So, as you well know, when you're born and raised in Ohio, generally speaking, your allegiance lies at the Buckeye Nation. So, but yeah, I'm excited for the coming year. I plan on getting back to Columbus if it's possible for a game in the fall, and I'm excited to be able to maybe even make a trip up the Triple T. So. Hopefully we'll get a chance to see each other in person this fall.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll go to work on that right now.
All right.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Thanks again for participating, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, of course, John. Great to see you. Take care of yourself.
You too.